and welcome viewers. It was Mahatma Gandhi's dream to see everyone gets illuminated by education. And the government of India has turned this dream into reality by making elementary education a fundamental right. Well, the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act has now been enforced with effect from 1st April 2010. And we are keeping a hawk's eye on this act, as we don't get illuminated by education. We want this legislation to be just remain on the paper. With this spirit, we discussed very briefly on the basics of this act on one of our episodes, in one of our earlier episodes, and today we are from first going to discuss on the other aspects of this act. And for this, we have two eminent guests here. Mr. N.K. Bhagwati, he is the former Deputy Director, Education, Assam, and he was also the former Deputy Director of State Council of Educational Research and Training. And we have here Gayatri Goswami, Dr. Gayatri Goswami. She is the Reader, Department of Education, and her specialization is child psychology. Both of you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, ma'am, the act has been implemented. We celebrated a lot. It's a historic one. But the real question is whether this act will be fruitful, will be successful, and it's going to help the needy. What do you think about this?
Okay, Rinku, as you know, Article 45 of the Constitution had stated that the state shall endeavor to provide elementary education to all children within the age of 6 to 14.
Yeah.
All right? So this is last 6 decades. Over the span of 6 decades, you can see there's such a lot of dropout rate, enrollment rate is very poor. So I feel that though the act is there, now from August 2009 this act was there, but from 1st of April this act has been enforced. So it's very, a couple of days back only, the success of this act time will say whether this act will be successful or not.
So wait and watch policy you want to say?
Yeah, wait and watch.
Okay, so sir, what do you have to say in the context of North, especially Assam?
Yes, there are some problems because we are not prepared. The state of Assam, not only Assam, many states are yet to prepare for implementation of the act because the existing scenario of the elementary education is very in a difficult situation. See, the elementary education stage is now controlled by different administrative authorities. So, for example, Director Elementary Education is looking after one part, major part of the elementary education, whether the Director Secondary Education is looking after another part, that is schools, high school, higher secondary schools with elementary stage, and madrasa education is looking after another part. Similarly, the Sanskrit education is looking after another part.
Yeah.
So some rectifications or reforms in the administrative scenario will be necessary for effective implementation of the act.
So the act also talks about the 10 objectives. The act seeks to achieve 10 broad objectives, which includes free and compulsory education, nature of curriculum, and the social responsibility of the teachers, community, parents. So, but we want to know, is there any provisions for the disabled children? Because before addressing these issues, we have 25% reservation for private schools. Okay, they have to give 25% reservation. But before addressing these issues, I would like to know from ma'am, this act, do you think this act talks about the disabled children? Because we have 20 million children here with various types of disability. So they want to know whether the act is clear about this thing.
Actually, see, children are children,
right,
whether they are challenged children or normal children. Children are children after all. And when you talk about education, for me, you have to take education toto, comprising of all the children. Now, the strategies, you cannot neglect this section of the children, those challenged children. Today we don't call them disabled. Today we call them
their children to schools, and the influential parents, they are kept.
It will take time. Rinku, it will take.
So we have to do away with this, and this act actually talks about this.
Yes.
Right. Now, moving on to the different aspect of this act also talks about the practice of schools taking capitation fees. The act actually wants to do away with this and subjecting the child or parent to the screening procedure. So, what do you have to say about this?
Actually, capitation it is related to privately managed schools,
Right?
Non-government educational institutions. The state government in Assam, the state government have already enacted.
This 25% reservation, which has been made compulsory for the private schools, they have to have this kind of reservation. So they are protesting against this thing. Okay, some people are unhappy about this. What do you have to say? What's your opinion on it?
About the reservation, you mean in the private schools?
Yeah.
Yes, I think the school should. This learning should be a joyful activity.
Accountability means accountability to the produce
challenge, and I know this task is urgent and the time is now. We cannot blame the government. Government
which have to be always the first and the very important one. Both of you gave a very nice message, and this program, this discussion can have a time limit, but the government does not have to follow strictly a time frame to ensure that the act becomes a success. And we have waited so long. Okay, now we can't afford to be lethargic or complacent in our attitude. As we have to get up, we have to pull our socks up. We can't work in isolation. We have to get together. We have to do a bit to make sure that this act really just don't remain on the paper. It becomes a success. It becomes a meaningful act. And thank you very much, experts. Thank you very much, our viewers. And we are going away from here, but with the hope that this act is going to be successful for the needy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.